Welcome to Jaunty Haunts, the podcast about all things supernatural. After 30 years of keeping a secret, I'm finally ready to share with the world that I see ghosts. Yep, I've been having conversations with the other side while trying to keep up appearances. This podcast is all about getting spooky and connecting with others who might also sense, see, or feel things beyond the ordinary. We'll swap true tales of the seen and unseen, and maybe even laugh about the weird stuff we've experienced. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, come join me as we explore the paranormal. Let's connect, share, and maybe feel a little less crazy together. Welcome to Jaunty Haunts.
There's a certain kind of silence you only find in the forest. Not peaceful, not quite. It's the kind of quiet that feels like it's listening back. Tonight, we're stepping off the path into the deep woods, where stories grow as wild as the trees themselves, places where people vanish without a trace, where time seems to slip, where something ancient lingers just beyond sight. Forests have always held a dual nature. They're beautiful, grounding, alive, but also unpredictable, shadowed, and full of things we don't fully understand or don't want to come toe-to-toe with. Folklore tells us of spirits that dwell among the trees, creatures that mimic voices, pathways that lead somewhere you never intended to go, and the deeper you go, the harder it is to tell what's real. Joining us is Charlie Mewshaw from Arcane Carolinas, who knows these woods and their stories better than most. Together, we'll explore the mystery, the darkness, and the strange magic that seems to cling to these places. So if you're listening tonight, imagine the crunch of leaves beneath your feet, the smell of pine in the air, the canopy closing in overhead, and that feeling that you're not alone. I'm your host, Courtney. This is Jaunty Haunts, where curiosity leads us into the shadows, and we never quite come back the same. Let's head into the trees. The CASPER rating of this episode is 2. Hey listeners, I'm so excited to have Mr. Charlie Mewshaw back on the show. We had so much fun last year when we spoke about, science, the color purple, ghosts, all that in general. So I really was hoping to have him back on, and I was honestly, surprised. He wanted to talk about the forest as a theme. I gave him a couple theme ideas, and he was full down, ready to jam, and the whole concept of this was, the forest, mystery, darkness, and magic. There's such a beauty to the idea of this. I think what really inspired me to first talk about this on Jaunty Haunts was Shakespeare's plays and how you go into the forest and there is always something magical, and there's a journey, and there's, an obstacle, something you have to face or challenge, and you come out changed, and how that is really common in literature and stories. And also, I grew up in the woods. I grew up in the mountains, and I don't know. There's never any time where a group of young kids or teenagers went in and didn't come out with a fun story to tell. Whether it was paranormal, romantic, silly, crazy, whatever, forest is where magic happens, and I wanted to talk about it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Please tell us what's new with you, and how's the pod going? How's all your work going? And I know you were releasing a book last time right before we spoke too. How's all that going?
That's right. That's what I was working on. So things are good. I host the podcast Arcane Carolinas. And we hit our 5-year mark this past October.
Wow. Congrats.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it's 150 episodes, 5 years. We made a sticker about it, and it had all the stats.
That's great.
So that's still going. We're volume 3 of the Arcane Carolinas book series came out this past fall as well. That's what I was working on the last time.
Yeah.
This year I'm working on a spin-off book, Arcane Destinations,
Wow.
Um, so that'll be more about the places that I go that aren't in the Carolinas.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
so it'll be all across North America, cryptids, ghosts, aliens, weird hidden history, um,
Amazing.
places I've been, people I've talked to, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's going to be so fun.
Thank you. Yeah, it was supposed to be out in time for the Frogman Festival in Ohio two,
Mhm.
3 weeks ago. But I might have made this joke last time, but Sasquatch doesn't pay the bills. I do have a day job. Other priorities got in the way. So the Arcane Destinations book will be out this summer,
Okay,
is the
very
plan.
nice. Before the
But yeah,
Mothman thing in September. There you go.
dude, I have, yeah, so I'll be at the Grafton Monster Festival, the Awari Bigfoot Festival, North Carolina Cryptid Con, the Southern Gothic Festival,
Wow.
South Carolina State Library. If somebody hears this from any of the events that I've committed to, it's not because I don't want to be there. It's because I don't have the list in front of me.
This is the
Um,
Charlie Mewshaw Eras tour.
right. So like, so if anybody that catches this podcast when it comes out is at any of those, definitely come say hi.
Yes,
Um,
please. Oh my gosh.
so I will be all up and down the East Coast this year,
That
doing the
sounds
festival circuit.
that sounds so fun.
So
I like not even as a podcaster, just as a like enjoyer of these things want to hit up some of these festivals, but like I feel like I never hear about them until after they happen. I have to get on the right Instagram pages or get like I don't know how to find out about these festivals.
yeah, what else is happening? That's pretty much it. Lost Monster Files got put on hold. They were very explicit that it's not canceled. That's the
Good.
line. That's
That's
the
really
line
good.
is that it's not canceled. It's on hold. And things are so crazy right now.
Things are so crazy right now. Yeah.
That I'm just like, okay, I can live with that.
Well, thank you for catching us up on your last year. I wanted to say as well, I got such great feedback after our episode. So many people appreciated your approach to the paranormal and also like how you look at things and how we chatted, especially coming from, our different takes on everything. I mean,
Yeah, totally.
not that we were arguing at all. I really enjoyed talking
Yeah,
to you, but as someone who's like, I see ghosts, and you're like very intelligent and, talking about the possibilities of what could be. We had that thing of, can you see
yeah,
purple or, so it
yeah,
just was, I'm just pointing out, thank you for being such an awesome guest. And I'm so excited to have you back today
yeah.
to
Happy to
talk
be here.
about, yeah, our theme of the forest. And I know it's kind of
Yes.
a broad thing. But I was really surprised you chose this topic of the few that I threw out there. Can I ask what drew you to this?
Because I have a lot to say about it. Uh,
Okay.
um, and some people I might pop somebody's balloon, but I hope they see where I'm coming from and understand what the magic of the forest truly is.
Okay.
Um,
I love it.
um, yeah, I got a little stack of books here. I got some of my notes pulled up
You're
in another
ready.
window. I'm ready. Like this is my bread and butter. Like basically, like this is Arcane Carolina's bread and butter. So I'm like
Yes.
done in that one.
Amazing. Okay, well then if you're cool with that, I'm just going to read sort of like my little intro here and then I've got a
Mhm.
bunch of questions, but we can just chat through, especially if you got stuff prepped. Okay, so this episode, The Forest, Mystery, Darkness, and Magic. There's something about forests that make even adults walk a little faster. Tonight on Jaunty Haunts, we're returning to the trees. But this time, we're exploring the mythic forest. The one from fairy tales, the one in German lore tied to the Black Forest, the one where witches and children get lost and wolves speak. Across cultures, forests represent the unknown. They are places of initiation, danger, transformation. In folklore, you enter the forest as one person and you emerge changed. Why? Is it the darkness, the sensory distortion, the evolutionary fear of predators? Or is the forest the oldest cathedral that we have, one that reminds us we are small? Let's wander, but stay on the path. So that's my woo-woo thing here, but
Yeah, love it.
thank you, my true Courtney thoughts. I mean, not that that's not, but I just brain farting right now, but
Yeah.
thinking about it, there was
Yeah.
something why I wanted to do this topic because, yeah, just the idea that there was always this mystery and magic in the woods. It's always intrigued me, especially growing up in the mountains myself, spending nights out in the forest, especially as a teenager, and seeing lights in the distance or hearing strange sounds. There's something so incredibly exciting and terrifying about the woods. And then, in high school into college and, especially acting school and like literature classes, reading Shakespeare. And a lot of Shakespeare shows use the woods as this transformative place of magic. And you enter, as I said in the first part there, you enter as one thing and you're coming out changed. And I think that ties to the truth. I've been watching that show Alone on Netflix, where people are spending their time alone in the woods and trying to survive. And there's just such an intense fear. I think it's a successful show because as an audience, we're watching going like, are they actually going to make it out? But it also feels very primal because that's how everyone was in the beginning. So anyway, there's a lot there, but I'm very excited and a lot of it is intriguing to me. So what are your thoughts about this, the forest in general?
So from a storytelling perspective, like you just talked about with folklore, like it's the equivalent of like the hero's journey through the desert. It's a
Mhm.
wilderness,
Yeah.
right? And it's full of peril, and there's it's not familiar, and all that. So from a storytelling perspective, it works like that for a
Yeah.
hero's journey. Um, I think as far as well, let me stop. On the internet,
Yeah.
it has it has been co-opted, and sort of like whatever the opposite of romanticized is, and
Yeah,
made to be like,
terrorized.
yeah, terrorized, sinisterized with
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff that, like, if you talk to a lot of people, at least down here, you'd be like,
Yes.
did you ever hear people say this, that, or the other? And the answer is always no. I never heard
Interesting.
"Don't whistle in the woods." I never heard
Right.
if you hear
The
somebody say your
Appalachian
name, like,
stuff.
right, it's like, that's all fun for storytelling, but, like, it's
It's not
kind of like
ingrained in your culture.
th right, and I
Okay.
think if you look even back 120 years ago, there was a hotel called the Eagle's Nest Hotel built in Western North Carolina, in a town called, I think it was Waynesboro, and, this was a time in American history, post-Civil War, uh, areas of the South needed to, rebuild,
Mhm.
obviously. And there was sort of like almost like a romanticism put on certain areas like the mountains, right? Because it was like, oh, well, these people lived in the mountains, and this is who society envisions as the mountaineer, the mountain man. And so this hotel got built out there for city folk and northerners to come down and visit, the mountains.
Yeah,
And
get the aesthetic.
right, exactly. And they concocted a monster story
Oh,
at the
okay.
yeah, and they would tell people like, out here it's real wild, and don't go in the woods or the boojum's gonna get you, and like all
Oh,
this stuff. Yeah, I did a whole deep dive on it and spent like an hour like figuring out like where the hell did the boojum come from. It's a hyper local
what
thing.
is the creature called?
The boojum,
Boojum.
Boojum.
I've
It's
never heard
hyper
that. Interesting. Okay.
because it was made up by people that own this hotel. Um, but it spread, and really what it was a way to keep people out of areas where stills were, right? Where people were
Interesting.
distilling moonshines.
Sure.
People came out to the mountains. They're like, "Oh, look, do you have the mountains?" And
Yeah.
the people who lived there were like, "Yeah, it's real crazy. You don't want to
Yeah.
go over there. The monster's gonna get you." And I tell you what, if you find any liquor out there, you don't want to drink it because
You don't
it's
wanna drink it.
poison.
It's boojum
Right.
tea. Yeah.
Right, right. So, like, that sort of, terrorization of Appalachia goes back 120 years, and what we're seeing now is like the creepypasta stuff. But I think that the further we get from nature, the more we layer on that terrorization. We're just using that word now.
Ew.
Making sorry, we made that up.
The
Whatever. Look,
terrification? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, terrification. Looking at things as more sinister than they really are because they're less understood,
Sure.
right? Um,
Well, then let me ask you, like, on that, right? Obviously, with TikTok and the modern age, these things spread like wildfire and these stories. But I have seen a lot of, like, you know, on TikTok, people asking, like, their grandmothers, like, in these chairs that are, like, 100 years old, being like, "Granny, where did you learn, this?" They're like, "Oh, we always knew, don't whistle at night, don't do this, don't do that." And
sure.
it's so do you think that is tied into almost this, like, capitalism of, like, people were selling things and not to, like, draw attention? Or do you think there is some sort of paranormal or just, like, ecosystem of animals that were dangerous? Like, where do you think this lore came from?
I mean, certainly. So the only explanation, and I did. So I was having coffee this morning. I met up with my friend Michael, who I do Arcane Carolinas with. And it's like, I'm going on Chauncey Haunts tonight again. This is the topic. You grew up outside of Asheville in the mountains, 30 years ago. I don't remember these sayings. And he was like, nah, the only thing we ever heard or told was if you hear what sounds like a woman being murdered, go the other way. It's just a bobcat.
Mhm.
Um, and I've heard that, and it does
Yeah.
sound like it's horrible. It's like horrifying if you hear that at night in the woods. Um, so like that one, I'm like, okay, so where does it come from? I mean, it had to come from somewhere, right? Like somebody
Right.
said it at some point. I don't think somebody on 4chan made it up and then it got copy and pasted
Right.
to Reddit, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
somehow that's where all of our creepypasta comes from now. It all originates in
Reddit,
that like
yeah.
black hole of the internet. And what's good enough to make it out gets to Reddit. And then what's good enough from Reddit to get out makes it out to like TikTok. There's like a hierarchy. There's like
Yes.
filters in place.
Literally.
So
Oh my god.
I feel like I don't know, somebody had to have said it somewhere. I've never heard it. It's at its core, I think cautionary tales about the forest. You talk about like European history and
Yes,
going
yeah.
back like super far. I think that those are meant to keep kids from getting eaten by bears
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
lions and stuff. But this is all the part where I'm popping someone's balloons. Somebody's gonna hear this and be like, "No, oh, my nana said,"
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be like, "Cool. I don't want to tell you all the things that my nana said that she definitely made up." Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, your nana is fallible. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know this, but old people make stuff up too.
We all pick and choose the things that are PC that our grandma said, right? That our nana said, yeah.
Well, no, I was more referring to just like, back in my day, we used to fill in the blank. And I'm like, did they really do that? Did
Sure.
they really? Right? Like, did you really
Yeah.
walk uphill both ways in the snow? Like, I
Yeah,
don't think,
yeah, yeah.
I don't think that's true. Um,
Yeah.
that's more of what I was driving at. But yeah, so, I don't want to pop somebody's balloon too hard. So I think that there is truly magic to the forest, just not necessarily in the way that some of the folklore and stories portray it, right? Like my friend
Right.
Michael, again, I'm giving him full credit to this. He's got all kinds of cool folk remedies and stuff
Mm,
that he can share, and has on Arcane Carolinas. But I'm gonna plug a book right now. I did not
great.
write this book. I have no ties to this woman. I don't know her. Um, so Enchanted Plants,
Love that. Great.
uh, by I'll hold it up now, Varla Ventura. So this book is beautiful. It's hardbound. It's got like gilded pages, and it's presented as a mix of, I mean, literally a treasury of botanical folklore and magic is the subtitle. So
Oh my gosh.
the let me just find one. So it goes through. It'll give you. We'll just pick the lily. I just opened up to this page. It'll give you a picture of the plant, common name, botanical name, where it's native to, known medicinal properties, and then magical properties according to folklore and magical tradition.
What does it say for
And then,
Lily?
let's see, magical properties: purity, immortality. The Easter lily and the Madonna lily represent resurrection and purity. However, lilies were once in the domain of Hera, Because of this, they can be used in both fertility and rebirth rituals. I use fresh, fragrant lilies on the altar when doing any self-resurrection or abundance work. So she
Cool.
um
Yeah.
and and then it's followed by one, two, three, four, five pages of lore about that specific plant.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So, like, this book is seriously one of the best botany books I've picked up recently because it's not just straight botany, right?
Yeah.
It's got the folklore and the magic stuff in there. But I think that illustrates my point, right? Like, so a plant can have medicinal properties that can be interpreted as magic, and that means different things to different people. But like, I think the magic of the forest is that it is so abundant with wildlife, right? And there's
Right.
all these different things in there, plant wise. Another good plant book is The Botany of Desire by Michael
Oh.
Pollan.
Okay.
People might know him from, he did a really cool book called How to Change Your Mind or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about magic mushrooms. I think they did
Nice.
a net, a Netflix special on that about how mushrooms interact with like the brain and like
I think I
help
might
you
have seen
navigate
that actually.
trauma. Yeah, it's
Yeah. And like in
really
like
good, really good
cancer
stuff.
patients and
Yeah,
convicts and things like that as well. Like
yeah.
yeah, like changing your brain patterns. Yeah.
Michael Pollan is a very, very smart dude, very famous in the world of botany, and he talks about the reciprocal relationship between plants and humans. Kind of kind of takes the approach of, and the way he does it is he goes across. It takes a look at four different plants, and it aligns them to make it relatable with different desires. So the
Wow.
first one is sweetness, the apple, and it talks about the history of how the apple was domesticated.
Mm.
It does desire beauty, the tulip, and it goes through the whole history of the tulip and like how it was domesticated. It does marijuana for intoxication, and then for control, it relates to the potato since it's like such a staple of nourishment.
Wow.
So he goes through these plants that seem mundane, right? But he goes like deep diving into like the cultural significance of each plant, deep
Yeah.
diving into how humans interact with them, how the plants have adapted to human use. Like, it's really cool. I think one of the taglines on the back cover is "Who's really domesticating whom," which is funny. But
Thank you
um,
for these
but
recommendations. That I want to get both of these. Honestly, that sounds
yeah,
really really cool. Because you're right, we don't
uh,
think about these things that seem mundane and how far we're sourcing them from and getting them.
yeah. So that's the botany of desire, right? It like really puts into perspective just how fascinating all the plants in the forest can be, like even to the most
Yes.
mundane little thing, right? And
Yeah.
then the Barla Ventura book takes a different approach that I think is equally valuable into how magical the plants can be.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why we haven't even gotten into wildlife, but
That's
I'm
great. No,
sorry,
this is great.
we haven't done this in a year, and I feel like I did this to you last time, where I was just like, I'm excited to talk about. Last year it was electricity and ghosts. This year I'm like, let me talk to you about plants.
No, I love
Um,
this though. This is you're so knowledgeable about so much of parts of this that I didn't even think we would get to. So I love that you brought those books out and it's made me think of two things. First, of course, was you already said the mushrooms, right? Of like especially thinking about witchcraft and the woods and the fear of that and the magical and mystery. It's like, okay, well, witches were quote unquote flying because they were eating magic mushrooms and having a trip, and seeing into
yes.
other things. And
Oh
um
God,
and we can chat more
keep
about
going, keep
that.
going.
But no, yeah, no. I'm gonna take like a side corner here, but thinking about where plants come from, and I was a florist in New York, and part of my job working in the West Village was catering to very wealthy people, and they'd be like, well, where are these ones from, where are these ones from? And it was like, okay, well, these roses we just got are from South Africa, these hydrangeas are from Holland. And at the end of the day, I would like look at what I was doing and being like, this is crazy that these plants, these flowers were cut, shipped across the world, and they're going to be dead in 5 days. Like they're already dead. They're dying. They're cut.
Right.
But anyway, I really am excited to check out The Botany of Desire for
Yeah.
that reason. But we can jump back
Um,
to magic mushrooms. Yeah.
yeah. So the mushrooms. Let's go back even further than
Yeah.
like the European and colonial American tradition of witches flying and all that.
Yes.
The secrets of Eleusis, in Greece, like
Okay.
um, the mysteries, the Greek mysteries. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of scholars that believe that the potion that people that sought the oracle in ancient Greece and would seek answers that they were given to participate in the mysteries was some sort of fungus. Um,
Mm.
and they would have visions. They would sit there, and then the priests, I guess, for lack of a better word, would essentially put on a show while these people were tripping, and
Sure.
like they'd be like, "Oh, I understand the universe better now," and then they would leave, like having participated in the mysteries, and be like, "Okay, I feel pretty good. Like I feel
But
pretty good about my experience."
that's so crazy though, because that's literally what ayahuasca is when people do ayahuasca, like
Yeah,
contemporarily. Like
yeah.
these rituals have been happening forever then.
The book, I think it's called. I'm struggling because I did this. I listened to this one. I didn't actually read it. I did the audiobook.
That's okay.
The Immortality Key by
Okay.
Jules Evans. Um, this guy, it was a really good read. It was really fun. He's a scholar in Greek history, and he actually went over to Greece, and the historical societies that were there were like super excited to talk to him about it and share like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is kind of what we think what was going on. And then as Greece was conquered and Christianity moved into the area, and certain the same way we see certain holidays repurposed, Halloween, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
Easter. Um, they think that early sects of Christianity were using the Greek mysteries as their sacraments. They just kind of like slapped a
Whoa.
fresh coat of slapped a fresh coat of paint on it, and we're like, here you go. This is communion. And it was actually the same stuff that the Greeks had been using, uh, you know, in Eleusis.
That's
But
so
yeah, super
cool.
cool stuff. So
Yeah.
all of this, so we went all the way back to ancient Greece. Let's fast
Yes.
forward all the way back to now.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot of tradition and verifiable history that we just touched on, like,
Mm-hmm.
that it has scholarly basis in why the woods seem so magical.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. No, I've got some more some talking points here, and I'm just gonna read through and see if it pulls anything out for you. So,
yeah.
um, the primal pull of the woods, right? Humans originated in wild environments. Forests feel both familiar and threatening at a deep instinctual level. The duality of safety and shelter versus danger in the unknown. Why darkness and dense nature heightens fear more than open environments. That got me thinking about if I was trapped, overnight, my car broke down in the middle of nowhere. Would I rather be in a desert where everything is visible but it's pitch black, or in the middle of like the forest in Oregon, And what would that be for you? What would you rather be dropped in?
So I have an answer for this from a real life experience.
Great.
I think that, but first I'll speak to the duality of the forest. So the forest is dense and can hold many secrets,
Yeah.
right? And so like
Yeah.
danger could be around any corner. And you can't see, but you can also hide in it, right? But me, I am a big old scaredy cat, and I was in the woods with my buddy Troy from Lost Monster Files. We were in Alaska, and we were on Kodiak Island, where there are more bears than people, is what they say. Um, and we heard. Did I already tell you this story? I don't
I
know.
think you did, yeah, like the
Yeah,
sound of like
yeah,
something
yeah,
dragging, right?
yeah. No, no, no. That was a camping story. That was a camping
Oh,
story. That was a
okay,
good
maybe
one.
I
Yeah.
didn't hear this
Okay.
one then. No.
Okay. Cool. Then I will proceed. So we heard bears. I think bears. They kind of like exhale when they walk because they're big. They look cute, but they're mean. But whatever. They're as they kind of go, right? And we're walking, and we hear this like noise, and I'm like, and we all stop, and it's me and Troy and Justin and Brittany, and there's no cameras. It was an off day, and we were just
Okay.
doing what we do for fun instead of with cameras. And I had already found a bear footprint down by the water. We were up in the woods now, and I was like, and I'm not the animal guy on that show,
Sure.
like, right
Yeah.
in that in that crew of friends. I'm not the animal guy. I'm the history and science guy. So I'm like, so what do we do?
Yeah.
And and they're like, Justin's like, I'm gonna go this way. And Troy looks at me, he goes, do you want to go that way? I was like, no, I want to get out of the woods. Like I can't see where anything is.
My God.
And so that is my honest response, like being genuinely afraid in the moment. I was like, hey, there's a huge clearing up there. We get high ground and then we can see down everywhere. Let's go up
Sure.
there. So I
Interesting.
think so. Troy and I went up there, and then Brittany and Justin were like, "We're going down the path still," and I was like, "Have fun getting eaten."
Yeah, I'm glad none of
Um,
you got eaten because I know grizzlies are not
uh,
brown bears.
yeah.
There's no mercy
Uh,
there.
no. So, but anyway, it was interesting and a very real experience. And I can answer your question. I would go to an open space where I could see the rest.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. You brought up the point there. That's what I was thinking too of the ability to hide. That's why I was like, I think I
Hmm.
would choose the forest just because there is the ability to hide. Whereas in the desert, you're you're there, you see everything and everything sees you, you know? Okay, well, cool. But yeah, the duality. I feel also a strong connection to this. And it seems like you grew up in a pretty nature-y area as well, right?
Yeah, I definitely enjoy the woods.
Yeah, and especially growing up and being in high school and stuff, there was like this for us, there was always this pull, like, hey, it's Friday night, it's not winter time. If it's not winter, then there's not
Uh-huh.
mud. Let's go. Like, we'll play
Yeah.
cards, we'll have lights. Like we were nerdy high schoolers. We weren't drinking or partying and stuff. And other people were, and like good for them. But like we literally had like an old kerosene gas lamp we thought was so cool because it
Hmm.
felt like we were in a
Yeah,
movie and we'd sit out on
because
this
they are
big
cool. I
stump.
still have one.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, we just sit out on this stump and like tell ghost stories and sing and be dumb. And it was like you felt like the world was kind of holding you while at the same time every stick that cracked turning to be like, "Wait, actually what was that?" Like it's weird the duality, right? Of we're safe, we're adventurers, we're having fun, but also being like, "Oh, but we could also die at any second." Did you guys experience that kind of growing up?
Yeah, so there was a specific area that kids would go to and hang out. I actually got a ticket for trespassing there from DNR once for being in there after
Oh,
dark. Um, but only once. They don't only caught me once. But we would go there and like run around on the trails and stuff. Same deal. And one night it was a group of it had to have been at least four, maybe five or six people.
mhm.
It was more than just like one or two people. So we're all moving to the woods, and we heard that bobcat woman being murdered sound,
Oh,
like right ahead and down was the where the trail went. We all just like froze. None of us had ever heard that before, at that time, and that just like all the fun instantly drains out of the party, right? Like
yeah,
we had been
mhm.
we had been on that path in those woods dozens of times. Like it was not unfamiliar. It's not a care in the world walking
Right.
down that path at like, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, like being out way too late, somewhere you're not supposed to be. But it was fine. It felt safe to your point. Like we
Right.
know these woods,
Right.
like just do, 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 do. We're on an adventure. We're gonna go to the railroad tunnel. That's what we were doing.
Okay.
Like we're gonna go through the woods and to the railroad tunnel, and we'll throw rocks off the bridge, and it'll be
Yep.
great. And then you just get that reminder out of left field that comes and smacks you in the side of the head, like, "Hey, no, there's stuff out here." And it's like, "Hey, you guys want to go back? Yeah, we should go back." And then we all just hightailed it out of there.
Hightailed it back. Yeah, see, and like, when that kinda stuff happens, that drop in your stomach, like, that feeling you get, for me still is, like, worse than any sort of, ghost experience that I've ever had, because any sort of ghost experience I'm having, I'm still doubting myself. Like, even down to my core of, well, I know what I'm seeing, but maybe there's something wrong with my brain. Maybe there's something wrong with me. But when you're in a group of people and you hear that screech, like, oh, we're all gonna die now. Like, it's such
Well,
a
yeah,
visceral feeling.
it's like that camping story I told you the last time
Yes.
about something came through our camp,
Yeah.
and I'm in the tent. My buddy's not in the tent. He's sleeping under like a tarp suspended from a tree on the ground because that's how he camps. And
Right.
and I'm in my tent like, oh no, like, do you hear that? And he's just like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
I
But but it was terrifying, right? Like, and it immediately went from we're having a great camp out on the trail to something is out there and it sounds very large and I don't know what it is.
Yes.
And I'm
Oh,
scared.
and now I'm scared. Yes. Well, that kind of takes me into something I experienced, but it has to do with these sort of points as well. I'm going to read through here of fear versus fascination. The thrill of being in the woods at night as teenagers, um, but there are these unexplained sounds or things that you see, and our brain's tendency to fill in gaps when visibility is limited. Why the woods trigger this curiosity and dread at the same time. So there's a kind of a paranormal story I had in the woods. Do you mind if I tell you?
No, go for it. I want to hear it.
Okay. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on Jaunty Haunts. I appreciate you choosing this over peace and quiet. If you've got a story, something weird, creepy, or just deeply questionable, send it my way. Email, Instagram, or by way of crow. I'll take it. I'd love to read it on the show. And if you're craving more spooky vibes, check out some of my favorite podcasts: Spooked, a funny feeling podcast, and Ghosted with Roz Hernandez. For horror, paranormal, and all-around unsettling fun, go show some love to our podcast friends, the Opening Kill podcast, the Red Treehouse podcast, Ghost Binkers, Believing in the Bizarre, Let's Talk Terror, I Scream, You Scream, Ghost Gossip podcast, Seance with My Siblings, the Ghoul Friend Hour, Close Encounters Club, and the list keeps growing. If you are a podcaster and you want to collaborate, please reach out as well. Follow, rate, share. Please do all the things that keep this little haunted corner thriving. So, like I said, we were nerdy kids. We didn't drink, we didn't smoke, we didn't do any of that, and we had this clearing in the middle of the forest with a stump that we used to go to all the time. And our friend who lived in the neighborhood said, "Keep an eye out, because sometimes this is where the lore of the area was that this is where the Donner
Mm.
Party passed through."
Ooh.
In the Sierra Nevada mountains. So on certain nights when the moon was like dark enough, right, when it wasn't a full moon, you could see their lanterns in the distance. You could see floating lights coming through and sometimes silhouettes of people. And I was always like, you guys are just trying to scare me. Stop it. Blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. And one night we were hiking and we saw this sort of like warm colored orby light, which, it was really, like, really dark, like new moon, like so pitch black. And we had like one dollar store flashlight amongst us. But same thing, like you said, we'd been there enough. We knew the trail by heart. We weren't worried. And we knew that in Tahoe, if there were bears, they're brown bears. And we just, scare them off essentially. They're not predatory. So we see this sort of light, which in our distance, like the proximity we could see in the dark, it seemed like it was like maybe like a football field away.
Mm-hmm.
But then we'd be like, "Do you see that?" And we'd turn, and all of a sudden it felt like it was like 30 feet away. It was like something was really playing with us. We're like, but it was moving very quickly. And then we were like, wait, everybody stop. And like in the distance, I was like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, do you guys see that? And it looked like there were truly like 6 to 8 lights kind of just slowly moving through on like the ridge of the mountain, like, I'd say 2 miles up from us, up high.
Dude, I have a lot to say about this.
Okay. All right, give it. What is it?
Are you familiar with the Brown Mountain Lights?
No.
Okay, so what you just described is like phenomena that I fully buy into. Like I know that sometimes like
Really?
that yes, I know that
Brown Mountain
sometimes I come
Lights.
off as skeptical.
And that's okay. Yeah.
But it's like an optimistic skepticism where like I really
Sure.
want to believe like let's make this happen. So the U.S. Geological Society has confirmed that this phenomena exists and that they cannot explain
Wow.
it. Yeah. So the Brown Mountain Lights are lights that hover along the ridge of Brown Mountain in North Carolina. Um, they tested what minerals are in the mountain. They like tried to figure out like, oh, could it be lights reflecting from the rail line? Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be lights reflecting from cars? Well, maybe, but that doesn't explain how they were able to detect and like document them at a time where the highway that runs by it was closed and snow had covered like shut down the rail
Wow.
line and stuff. So the United States Geological, like the feds did a study on
Yeah.
Brown Mountain. And we're like, we don't know, man, but they're there, and so like you can just go, and like they don't appear at any regularity,
Yeah.
but but it is a phenomena that's been filmed and documented, and nobody can seem to explain it.
Oh my God. Wait, that's so cool.
Yeah, and so then there's also it's in the geographic center of the state, which is kind of neat, right next to the North Carolina Zoo, so there's plenty of free parking. There's a mountain called Purgatory Mountain, and Purgatory Mountain has a legend going back to the waning days of the Civil War, where there was a member of the Confederate Home Guard, like a genuinely bad dude that would go and round people up and press them into service as the South was losing indisputed bodies.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is the legend, by the way. The legend is he went into the local Quaker community, kicked in the door of a church on a Sunday because he knew they would fight. Quakers are pacifists. And just said, "All right, you're coming with me," and just like tied a bunch of them together and started marching them towards Wilmington. But he had to stop. He had to water his horse, and he stopped at a pub and got too drunk, and the Quakers escaped up Purgatory Mountain. He gave chase, and they were like, "We're gonna have to kill this guy. Like it goes against everything that we believe, but like we have to kill this guy."
Wow.
So they like played rabbit. They sent one of them that's really quick out there to be like, "I'm up here, come get me."
Bait.
And then
Yeah.
right, and then he was the rabbit, and the hunter took it hook, line, and sinker and ran into him, and they killed him on Purgatory Mountain. And to this day, a light can be seen on Purgatory Mountain, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the first time I heard this story, I was like, "That's a great story.
Yeah.
It's cool that they named the mountain Purgatory Mountain after this
Right.
legend. Like neat. Let me do my thing." Well, I found out that the guy was real.
Oh.
He did exist.
Uh-huh.
I know where he's buried. Um, and this was all done through Civil War records, and then living family members, like generations, obviously, like descendants,
Sure.
confirming like, "Oh yeah, no, that was great great grandpappy, whoever. Yeah, he's buried over there, like half a mile from Purgatory Mountain." And then I was able to figure out through like local court records and stuff that he was murdered. It wasn't by Quakers though.
Okay.
It was by three guys. I think it was three. It was by three guys that knew that he was going to come try to press them into service, and they said, "Well, we'll just wait for him to come out of his house where he goes by the stream, and we'll just kill him there." So they did, and they cut the buttons off his coat as souvenirs to prove to the town that he was dead. And then basically they conspired to be like, because there's a huge Quaker population in Randolph County, which is where the mountain is. And they're a very insular group, especially back then. So they're like, we'll just say the Quakers did it. Nobody's going to bother them. Nobody's going to ask them. Like, we'll just say
Just say the
we'll just say the
Quakers
Quakers did it and be done. So it's like, it says a lot about society and how we put things onto groups that we don't understand,
Yeah.
how we, project things onto groups that we don't necessarily understand.
In America? No.
Right. So that's like the moral that you can take away from my analysis of the event.
Sure.
I was like, well, I'm going to Purgatory Mountain. So I grabbed one of my kids and I was like, come on, field trip. And we went up
Cool.
there. So we went up there and, there's like trails and stuff now and you can go up there. People that work at the zoo, 'cause like I said, it's right next to the zoo, will tell you that they've seen lights up on the side of the mountain.
Wow.
Mountain is also a very strong word for this mountain. It's kind of a hill.
Yeah.
But we went up there, and if you're into crystals and minerals and that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it is just littered with quartz. Like you can like
Cool.
scratch the surface of the dirt, and it's just like quartz, 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 quartz. So if you're into that sort of like esoteric, sort of metaphysical stuff,
Yeah.
like you can connect the dots. Like, okay, dude was murdered here. This mineral is believed to retain energy, which makes sense for,
Sure.
this dude's
Amplifying what you could see,
right,
his spirit at
right.
night or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So like if you wanna like so anyway, I am all about your story and I hope those two stories assure you that you're not crazy and that's awesome. And I 110% believe you.
Thank you. No, that's so fun because I think that was one I really talked myself out of, especially being like, we were teenagers, we were just like freaking each other out. But no, this is very validating. Like I did think I saw lights on the mountain. So
Oh,
this is
yeah.
great. Yeah.
There's one more I did a TV special in South Carolina
Okay.
for like public TV down there called Sea Island Spirits. And
Mm.
I talked about the Land's End Light, which is on. Oh God, they're gonna be so mad. I can't remember the name of the island. Doesn't matter. So, so there's a light on this road that appears, and there's a whole story tied to it. And the same kind of deal. Like you can verify, like, yeah, this guy was killed there. Like this really happened,
Yeah.
and people swear they see a light. Now, in that case, you can make the argument that one of the possibilities is what they call piezoelectric rocks or minerals, which I think I talked about too,
Yes, you
maybe.
did. How cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And so like it's different than swamp gas. But it is a way that light can manifest, like appear to manifest from the ground and like and hover. But that doesn't explain the Brown Mountain lights, and it doesn't explain based on like the fault lines and stuff on Purgatory Mountain. It doesn't explain that. So I'm not trying to say that that explains yours, but in some cases
No, that's
you can
great.
explore that as a thing where if you look up, the geological survey and be like, is there a fault here? What's the soil content? What is the
Sure.
mineral? Like what are we working with in the environment that could possibly explain this? And
Yeah.
once you rule all that out is when it gets exciting and you're just like, oh man, this could really be something.
I know. I'd be curious now, especially to check in with you later, because I'm like, I know for sure
Oh,
there's lots of radon. I know there's lots of quartz as well, and it's also was a fire zone and everything. It was a lot of regrowth at that point, so the soil is like pretty rich because it's all new flora and fauna. But yeah, very interesting stuff. How that can attribute can come together for like visual. I don't know
yeah. Like
manifestations. Yeah.
I mean, the forest is a literal ecosystem, right? There are all these different components and systems in place, like you just named, but are all interacting in a way to make a unique environment.
Right.
And I think that contributes to the sense of awe that we have, because
Mm-hmm.
if you just like sit and shut up and don't look at your phone in the woods for a little bit, it just comes alive.
Yes, it's truly healing, and it does sound so woo-woo, but it's like they've done the studies because I was trying to convince myself like whether I should, should I stay in New York, should I leave New York, and I had recently like read this study about um I think it was Columbia students. Forgive me, it's either Columbia or like Harvard students who had done, a month of testing where half of the students spent a lot of time outside in nature. They, would walk to class. On their weekends, they were kayaking and hiking, and then the other ones they kept inside the whole time. Like you could go to your car and walk back, but otherwise, like you weren't supposed to do anything in nature. And like their like endorphin count, oxytocin, like everything about their bodies was like and like the depression and anxiety levels. It just was
Uh-huh.
crazy. It was just so crazy. It just goes to show you like I don't know. For me, it was like, yeah, nature is healing, you know?
It is. So, are you familiar with grounding and how? Yeah. So, it's funny, silly me. I always have to be like, I don't know. Let me check.
No, I don't know if I
Uh,
believe in it either. I want to hear what you have to say.
I uh, I did the thing that you see where you take the
String.
multimeter
Oh,
and you can test for electric current, right?
yes.
So you're like, all right, I got my sneakers on. Run test number one. I'm standing on soil. No current flow. Okay, all right. Let me take my shoes and socks off. All right, test number two. You're like, oh my God, it's actually doing it. Like that's
Really?
real. Like, yeah, like when you see people do that on, social media with their little multimeter and they're like doing like, look, if I have my, like it, that is real.
Whoa, that's
I
crazy.
would, right? And that like, when I did that, and I just did it in my backyard. I have a
Yeah.
postage stamp sized backyard. It's like tiny little patch of dirt. I'm like, all right, well, there's some dirt over here. It's not concrete. Let me stand on
Yeah.
this and see if
Yeah.
it works. And it worked. And it worked. And I was just like, man, I can't believe that worked. Super cool. So like, as far as the health benefits, I don't know. But as far as when you see people on social media test it, that does happen.
It
Like
is real.
grounding is yeah, that is real. So,
Yeah.
see, I'm popping some balloons. I'm keeping some other ones inflated. I'm a mixed bag.
It's okay. That's great. Healthy skepticism
Yeah,
and yeah,
yeah.
research. There was my mother-in-law sent us when we were living in New York grounding mats. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, they like plug into the ground on your outlet, and you're supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was painful. Like my Jordan, my partner, he wasn't painful for him. He was like, I don't really feel anything. But when I stood on it, it felt like I was being shocked. I was like, ow, ow! Like it
Wow.
hurt me. Yeah, and I tried more than once, and I was like, I don't think we should keep these. I think they're like electrocuting us. He's like, I literally don't feel anything. So I was like, we were both barefoot.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, I know I have a lot of metal in my body, so maybe that's why. Like my wrist is all metal. I have a plate and screws and stuff, but I have like implants in my teeth. I don't know, but he did not experience
Wow.
pain, and I did.
Interesting. In the same outlet and everything.
Yeah. Like I stood on it and was like, "Ow," and he was like, "What?" And then he like
Yeah, you
tapped.
got something going on. That's interesting.
Really?
Don't
Okay.
don't do that again. I know. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not a doctor. I don't know. But I'm like, like, don't do that if it hurts.
No, no, no. I wanted to throw them away, and he was like, "I'm not gonna throw them away. They're probably expensive." I was like, "Okay," but yeah, they're literally like in a box in my like studio right now. Like they're just
Oh,
sitting in here, but they are not plugged in.
that's funny.
Okay,
Well,
cool. I know
that's wild.
we're kind of coming up on an hour. I don't want to keep you over too long, so I'm gonna read my final thoughts here and
Yeah.
see what you think. So we talked about the woods being this transformational place, especially in literature, the real life parallel of time and isolation in nature changing your perception, your identity, your mental state, everything we just talked about with how it can physically be healing and change you, right? And then, the difference of isolation and survival reality. Sometimes there's this illusion that humans can easily return to nature versus the reality. It's why I like these shows like Alone, where it shows, there's a lot to be afraid of, because of what is actually in the woods, wildlife, terrain, weather, ecosystems, and then this fun sort of paranormal unknown layer of cryptids, folklore, creatures, unexplained encounters, the difference between physical threats and perceived psychological ones, the energy of this place, the idea that forests hold memories or energy due to age, natural cycles, why some places feel off or charged, the cultural and spiritual interpretations of land as alive. So the big question I have here is, do humans belong in the woods anymore, or have we lost the ability to coexist with it?
I think we absolutely belong in the woods and we should learn to live as if we still do.
Oh, what a cool answer. I wasn't expecting that. I love that.
I mean, we obviously can't all live in the woods, but if we learned to live a little bit more like we did, I think the world would be a better place.
Is for damn sure. Yeah, I love that. Just general respect and maybe that little bit of fear and not walking on
Mhm.
eggshells, but moving
Yeah,
intentionally, maybe, right?
think understanding that you're a part of something much larger.
Yeah. Yeah. Great way of saying that. Um, and then on the fun spooky side, is this fear of the forest a warning or an invitation?
Well, it's definitely like an evolutionary survival mechanism. It's definitely it's definitely a warning.
Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. Well, I had a few more questions, but we talked about so many great things. I don't feel like anything specifically was missed. I also believe very much in these ideas of like a tulpa, but with spaces, right? The combined sort of cultural, what's happening in the zeitgeist and lived experiences mixed with these expectations creates something that's sort of energetically charged. So I think that could be something that's happening there and happening in all forests currently with these crazy TikTok conspiracies we mentioned at the beginning of these Appalachian
Yeah,
things, right?
yeah. Collective consciousness is definitely a thing. I am big on collective consciousness being a thing.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I can't prove it. It's one of the ones where I'm like, yeah, yeah, no, that's a thing. But I think that if you look at any sort of like on a smaller scale, the way people feel when they're gathered together and all focused on the same thing, like is tangible.
Yes.
Whether it's a sporting event, whether it's a sporting event or a religious gathering
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I can't explain any of it. It's one of the things I'm the least skeptical about is that there's.
Cool.
We talked about this last time. I was like, dude, there's stuff going on that like wavelengths going on that like we don't know about, and
Right.
that's
This was so much fun, Charlie. Thank you so much
yeah,
for all of the knowledge you brought and the takes and the great stories that you had in regards to things like these brown mountain lights and these tangents. I'm so happy we took these and then the plants and listeners, please go check out these book recommendations. I know I am for sure. Um, do you have any advice for people, I guess, moving forward after talking about the forest and you're someone who does get out in nature so
yeah,
often? Like, what do you want to tell people who, especially I think, are going in to try to do stuff in the paranormal venue? Like, it's a haunted forest or we want to get a ghost or we're going to a graveyard. Like when you're going out with nature,
yeah.
do you have any advice for people?
Don't go alone. Be safe.
Nice.
That's the main thing.
Yeah,
I mean the. I would be a hypocrite if I said don't go anywhere you're not supposed to be.
right.
Um, so
Yeah,
I
didn't
won't
you like
say
sneak
that.
into like a warehouse or something at some point with like
Yeah,
wires?
many, many times. So do anywhere you go, do it at your own risk, but be smart and safe and make sure that you tell people where you're going, take somebody with you. I hate when I see the urban explorers doing like solo vids. Like, I'm gonna solo video this old car plant. It's just like, bro,
Yeah,
if you
no.
fall through the floor, you're dead. There's
Yeah,
nobody there to help you.
yeah.
And the same thing applies to the forest, right? It might not be
Yes.
urban exploration, but if you're going into an area that you've never been before and you don't know and you're not familiar with, like take somebody with you.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful advice. Okay, well, this has been so great. Just a reminder to listeners, go check out Arcane Carolinas podcast and look out for Charlie's book coming out, hopefully sometime this summer. Arcane Destinations, right?
Yeah, I'm easy to find. CharlieMewshaw.com at Charlie_Mewshaw on Instagram.
Amazing. Anything else you want to plug or say to the listeners before we log off?
I don't think so. I hope everybody has a great evening, morning, whenever you listen to this. I hope you're having a good one.
Thanks so much for listening. Remember, you are not alone if you've ever heard a bump in the night or caught something out of the corner of your eye. There are countless others who experience things they can't explain. And this podcast is your safe place to listen and share. Also, I want to remind everyone that this show is for entertainment purposes. I am not a professional paranormal investigator. I did not go to school to study this. I can only speak about my firsthand experiences. And with that, I'd love to mark the importance of spiritual inclusion. Your thoughts, ideas, and theories about the other side are welcome. And we know that so much of our common knowledge and perception about the paranormal stems from historical and cultural experiences. So we are open to your knowledge and understanding of things that we may be ignorant about or not fully understand. Let's learn and grow together. Stay spooky, and we'll see you next time. Hey, ghoul friends! Got a spooky story to share? Well, I want to hear about your haunts. Whether you've seen a ghost or something unexplainable, send your supernatural experiences to us at jauntyhaunts@gmail.com. That's JAUNTYHAUNTS@gmail.com. Or DM us on Instagram at jauntyhauntspod. That's jauntyhaunts.pod. You can also find us on TikTok and YouTube under Jaunty Haunts Podcast. I want to hear from you.